Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Today we'll be talking about 8 key materials to emulsion paint production. In paint production, there are certain materials that you use while making your paint, but today we are going to discuss the 8 basic materials that you need in your paint production, in your emulsion paint production. Because in satin, there are materials that you need. If it is glossy paints, there are materials that you need. But today we are going to talk about the 8 key elements, or the 8 key materials to emulsion paint production. First is water. It is called emulsion paint because it is flat, it is water-based, paint. So the first thing that you need is your water. After your water, is argon. Argon has the ability to dissolve every other chemicals that you are going to add to your paint. So I add it first. After the water, the first thing that I add is argon. So after the argon, the next thing I add is the titan. Some people call it TO, some people call it butyl, depending on the brand that you are using. So you add it. Remember, all these things has a measurement. They have measurements that you need for each production, depending on the quantity that you are producing. Then after your titan, the next thing that you add is your calcium. You add your calcium. After the calcium, the next thing I add is my acrylic. Some people call it PVA, that's polyvinyl acetate or acrylic. So I add it, the quantity that I need. Remember, each production, depending on the quantity that you want, has a specific measurement that you add for it. It has a specific measurement that you add for it. So after the acrylic, if it is a white paint, like super white that I want to make, if it is a super white paint that I want to produce, the next thing I will add is my silicate. Your silicate helps the paint to have whitening. It's a whitening agent. But then if it is a colored paint that I want, like let's say cream, off-white, yellow, maybe dove gray, dark gray, any other color, if it is colored paint, it is now that I'll add it. I'll add it now, because sometimes if you see some paint, after you paint it, you will see some patches on it. Maybe the person did the coloring after he has added the thickener. But no, in order to have a complete and a perfect paint and color, you need to add your pigment, or maybe oxide or paste, depending your color paste or oxide, before you add your thickener. Okay, so I will add my coloring agent now. After my coloring, after I've gotten the shade that I want, the next thing I will now add is my thickener. I'll add thickener, which could be natural soil or cellulose. Remember, in this, before you add your thickener to your paint, you have to mix it. You have to first put the quantity that you need in a different container, or maybe bucket, and add a certain amount of water to it to dissolve it there before you add it to your paint. You don't add it direct. It's not like other materials that you add direct to your paint. So you have to first of all dissolve it in a different container before you add it to your paint. Then after you add it, stir immediately as you are adding your thickener. Stir immediately. Just keep stirring until your paint gets thickened, that is the number 7. Thickener is the number 7. Then the 80th one is the preservative. You have to add your preservative to your paint. If your paint is going to stay long, if you don't want your paint to start smelling over time, or maybe get bad or something, you have to add your preservative, which could be formalin. Some people add just formalin, but I add formalin and ammonia. Ammonia helps quickens the reaction of your hair cellulose, or quickens the reaction of your natural soil. Okay, and it as well has the preservative ability, so it helps to preserve your paint. That is the 80th key materials to emulsion paint production. Then the trace ones are Genopor, deformer. Yeah, those ones are trace materials. They are not really key materials. Some people add genopor and deformer just after adding the acrylic, because if you add your acrylic while stirring it will start foaming. So some people add the genopor then and add the deformer. Deformer is just to remove the foaming, the foam that the paint is forming. Then you just have to clear off those foam. So I call them trace, because even if they are not available, you can still make your production and your paint will still be okay. If they are available, they are added in trace. They are not like core materials. That's why I call them trace materials. Now your paint is ready. You can package your paint and your paint is ready. Thank you for listening. I know this is going to help you a long way in your subsequent paint production. Thank you very much. In case you have not subscribed to our button, please click the subscribe button and click the notification button so that you will be notified when next we upload our videos. Thank you very much.